February.
Yeah, and Chris has played it ad nauseum, and now we're seeing. Well, he's not playing ad nauseum, but he's played it quite a bit.
Watch your words in this format.
Gotta be very careful what I
say.
He's played it quite a bit, and so it'll be interesting to see how Reuben does with it. Let's see what differences has he changed from Chris's list, or maybe he's just using Chris's exact list. I don't know. His list looks almost exactly the same. He's got Phyrexian Metamorph in the sideboard. That's a new one. Tabernacle at Pendervale. That's a new one.
Metamorph's a great answer to Emrakul and Progenitus. You know, they show and tell. You put it in. They both, legend rule. You know, they even natural order Progenitus. It doesn't target. You just put it into play. Let's see. Yeah, Tabernacle is awesome against some of the creature decks that are popping up.
Yeah, it seems pretty good. 61 cards in the main deck. Worth noting. So we'll see what happens. It's the Energy Field Blue deck. For those who don't know how the Energy Field Blue deck works, basically it's just a mono blue control deck. It's just gonna wretch control the game, counter all your spells, then gain control in the long game.
Eventually kill you with Jace or Vandalink.
Usually Jace.
And for those of you who don't know what the card Energy Field does, 1 in a blue enchantment prevents all damage that be dealt to you, and whenever a card is put into your graveyard, sacrifice it.
So the game's already a little underway here. We have Matt with an Underground C. Oh, it looks like we were given the wrong deck list here. So Matt is not playing No Rug. He's playing something else entirely.
That is actually Matt McCullough, not Matt McCullum, I believe. He is playing Blue-Black Reanimator.
The Into gives it away.
Actually.
You know him.
Yeah, he's from Ann Arbor as well.
Oh, there you go. So you can probably just tell us his list, right?
He has, Entomb, 11 reanimation spell. It's somewhere between Eli Casis's and Kyle Kloster's list. 4 reanimate, 4 Exhume, 3 animate deads, 4 Entomb, 4 careful study, 4 brainstorm. I don't remember if we were at 2 or 3 ponders, 3 Jingataxis, Iona, Sphinx of Steelwind. I think it was Angel of Despair. I'm trying to remember what the actual other targets were. Let's see. I think there's a Platinum Angel in there too.
This is going to be an issue for Reuben Bresler. Iona on blue.
Yeah, that was pretty standard for the Reanimator deck. Just turn 2, Iona. Reuben can Vidalcan Shackles it.
Yeah, I think
he
that's
can Oblivion Stone it. But beyond that, he can no longer play spells.
But he does have an Energy Field in play.
Yes, he does.
So as long as he can keep playing lands, he's not in any immediate danger.
And is it play or hand? Is it play or anywhere on Energy Field? Oh. It might be from play.
I don't know. If you discard, Energy Field goes away.
Matt has a Jingataxis in play. This game is likely going to end with him having Platinum Angel, Jingataxis, and Angel of Despair, and Iona in play. Angel of Despair and killing Energy Field and...
Oh, and Reuben actually has to discard his hand to Jingataxis, which will break the Energy Field.
Oh, or that happens. Yeah, it's... and it's over. Okay.
All right. That was a pretty quick first game.
Pretty standard game for Reanimator. Oh, Matt took out the Platinum Angel in his... No, Platinum. He had a Platinum Empyrean from it. He's playing 2 Ionas, 3 Jingataxis, a Sphinx of the Steel, and a Platinum Angel. That was probably after talking to another player from locally who he goes by Master Shake on the source forums, Christopher Walton. He was talking about playing a second Iona, and the Platinum Angel was also his idea. Interestingly, he doesn't have a main deck answer to a permanent. That usually isn't a huge issue. He also has Thoughtseize in the main deck, which was not on the list when I was working with it before, but it's a fine addition. He has the signature Arilax 2 Underground Seas for all these blue-black combo decks. Just never, ever, ever, ever want to get wasted when you don't have to be.
We were talking about this the other night, actually, how you were like, people just play way too many dual lands.
I know, it's just... They don't understand the concept of, you just have more fetches, and you can fetch a dual when you want to. And when you don't want to, you fetch a basic. And it's just the worst. You have 4 Underground Seas in your deck. You just look at your opening hand, your lands are Underground Sea, Swamp. And you're just like, well, I'm going to have to play this Underground Sea. And if they counter my reanimation spell and waste my Underground Sea, I'm just not going to play another spell unless I draw a land. And you're looking at these decks that have 17 lands, and you just cannot reliably, draw out of a wasteland. So, let's see. Looking at the sideboard, Reuben has a Relic and a Tormod's Crypt to bring in. I don't think a misdirection is really going to do what he wants it to here. It can change the target, but he doesn't have enough creatures to reliably misdirect your animation.
And on Exhume it doesn't even work, right?
It does not work on Exhume, but Animate Dead and Reanimate can target both graveyards.
Right.
Tabernacle probably does not matter. paying 1 for your Jinga taxes is probably enough.
Price is willing to pay.
Propaganda probably doesn't matter. Phyrexian Metamorph could be good though.
Metamorph, definitely. Legend Rule Iona.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it is below.
It can Legend Rule Jinga taxes so you don't have to discard your hand. Actually, Metamorph doesn't seem so good anymore now that I think about it. Lawan's probably not that good. He's probably just looking at this Tormod's Crypt and this Relic and seeing where it goes. Maybe Oblivion Stone if he thinks Iona is a huge issue and he won't be able to get Jinga taxes.
So some of it depends on what he wants to take out.
Yeah. Well, looking at the cards he has, Back to Basics isn't actually good in this matchup.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that's one of the ones you would cut.
Vidalcan Shackles is way too slow, I think. Maybe you can get to 5 and steal Jinga taxes, but I don't think you want all of them. Looking at Matt's sideboard, he has Show and Tells. I don't think he really wants them for this matchup. That's more for, sometimes there's aggressive decks where Reanimate's bad and they're bringing, they're going to burn you out if you Reanimate. And they're also bringing in Graveyard Hate, so you have Show and Tell, and that just upgrades Reanimate. You don't have to go through the graveyard, and there's also a personal tutor to go with those, just as a 5th copy, because you just want that card all the time.
Right.
There's some Thought Seizes and Spell Pierces he's going to bring in probably. There's some Stifles. That was the upgrade to Pithing Needle we came up with. You don't want Pithing Needle because your Pithing Needle naming Tormod's Crypt, it just doesn't do anything otherwise. But with Stifle, they don't have the Crypt, you can just hit a fetch land or something, hit anything relevant. And he might bring in this Inkwell Leviathan out of the board too, or Terrastodon to kill that energy field.
Yeah, we can definitely see some of those. Although Jinja Taxis does a pretty good job of dealing with energy field.
Well, this Sphinx of the Steel One and Platinum Angel are pretty irrelevant in this matchup, so it's probably better just to upgrade them to Inkwell and Terrastodon.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Having Terrastodon around seems important. Also, you don't want to just get randomly Vidalcan Shackles or something, right?
Yeah, Inkwell is probably good enough in this matchup most of the time.
Yeah, Inkwell also too.
Yeah. Reuben actually has Echoing Truth in his deck too, in the main deck, so that's a possible answer that he already has. Let's see, he has a lot of counter spells, but the gist of what everyone, there's 2 opinions on this. Some people have been like, yeah, the Reanimator deck, it's not really good against control because they have all these answers to your guys, but on the other hand, you're just faster than they are. They can't reliably have, spell snares or all their counter spells up by the time you're going off, and your deck has better cantripping. So even though you only have 11 counter spells to their 15, their missteps or their spell snares might not be good against what you're doing, and you have missteps, daze, and force will, and you can just assemble this hand that's better than what they do by turn 2, and just all you need is an end step with Jinka Taxis. That's all you need.
Right, yeah. And once you get there, you're up 7 cards, your opponent is down their entire hand.
I mean, even if they kill it on their turn, you're up 7 cards. That's probably enough.
Yeah, I imagine. To deal with Jinja Taxis, you pretty much have to kill it right away, which is not always the easiest task.
Yeah.
And if you're a mono blue deck.
That card being printed was really what put Reanimator back on the map. Before it was always like, well, I can play a couple Ionas, but I don't want a million Ionas. I can play a couple of this guy, but I don't really like, who wants multiple Sphinx of the Steel Ones or Platinum Angels, and I'm playing against, Hive Mind. This is an awesome Sphinx of the Steel win. This is a great Inkwell Leviathan against my zoo opponent. You really had this issue, without Entomb every game because of Mystical Tutor. You couldn't really find it. Now it's just like, well, I'm just going to put Jinga Taxes into play. I think that's good enough.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing about Jin that's great is a lot of times, you can maybe reanimate a guy and they would kill it and you'd be like, well, I have nothing now. Yeah. But drawing 7, make sure you can double up if you need to.
The other thing about Jin that's kind of, people always talk about maybe killing yourself with him, but he's just a legend. You should reanimate the second one.
Right, so you don't accidentally deck yourself, right?
And if you really need them to not be able to get back into the game, you can just put this list as a Platinum Angel. So you can just have Platinum Angel Jin in play. It's like draw 7, I'll not lose the game, and you'll not have a hand.
Sure. Just make sure your Platinum Angel doesn't go away and you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Oh, curious if the mono blue deck had considered Dismember. It'd be an interesting card for that to play
around with. It definitely would be something interesting for this deck to play around with. It would be an instant speed answer to Jinga Taxis in this matchup.
Mm-hmm. Something to think about, but Reuben has not opted for that route. Instead, he's just opted for an Island Go. Thoughtseize from Matt on the first turn.
Brainstorm in response.
And that is a good time to use a Brainstorm. According to AJ Soccer, that is an appropriate Brainstorm.
Yes.
So,
looks like Reuben got another Brainstorm off that one.
Yep. Now, the way this works, he just gets to hide whatever 2 cards he wants to keep the most.
It's probably Brainstorm and something else that's not Brainstorm.
Yeah, seems likely. Let's see. I'm looking at his hand. I see a lot of lands, a ton of islands. I see another Brainstorm. I think it's Spell Snare. That's what he's hiding, Brainstorm Spell Snare. So we're going to see what else he has. So Brainstorm Spell Snare on top, with Brainstorm on the top, I believe. The rest of his hand is Freshly Metamorph, Vendilion Click, and 4 islands.
I think he might have wanted. I guess in this, I'm used to other combo decks where Vendilion Click's a lot better, but it might be that Vendilion Click's better than Spell Snare. I don't really know if Reuben's going to be able to fight this game really well. He doesn't have a lot of the tools he needs. I think Vendilion Click's going to go here, and that leaves him with, he does have a fetch land. He can Brainstorm again, so he could have anything, but Matt's deck does have Mental Misstep, so he could just do the same thing all these other decks are trying to do to the combo decks and just Mental Misstep the Brainstorm and make them fumble.
Yeah, I mean, Spellstorm does hit 7 of Matt's reanimation spells, but he could still reanimate.
Or just have a second one.
Just have a second one.
Or daze it, or whatever. Or not daze, but, misstep it, anything.
Right. There's a Ponder from Matt McCullough.
Yep.
And Reuben is thinking about brainstorming in response. Now, Reuben has plenty of excess lands you could put back on top and shuffle away if he needed to. So, let's see what he opts to do. Yeah, so he does go for the brainstorm in response. And he's gonna pick up 3 cards to see what he finds. Oh, we'll see if Matt chooses to do anything. And if Matt missteps this brainstorm, okay, Matt's gonna Entomb in response. Now that is a big deal.
Yeah, that sets him up so that any reanimation spell he's gonna have just already has the target.
You just got Iona, right?
Yep. Yeah, probably in this match if you want Iona. Matt doesn't really know what Reuben's doing, probably. He hasn't played nearly as much Legacy as some people might have. Like, the Chris Cronenberger list is not something he's probably considered, and he probably doesn't really think about the Oblivion Stone or anything. You still probably want Iona, but...
Yeah, I mean, locking your opponent off what they're doing is really impressive. Looks like Reuben drew Spell Snare and Metamorph and an island, I think.
He had a Metamorph already. We'll see.
I don't think those Metamorphs are actually that good here.
No, they really aren't.
I think they're a trap. Like, you look at them, you're like, oh, sweet, but...
Yeah, they're definitely a trap. It's like, oh, sweet, I get to kill their Jink attacks after they draw all these cards. Oh, sweet, I can't play them against this Iona.
Yeah. Big issue. I mean, if you think they're going to be show and tell, it's more reasonable. But...
I think that out of other decks, they're probably really bad on a mono blue, but, like, let's say you're, like, mono red burn and you want to kill an Iona for some reason.
Yeah,
Metamorph would do that. Metamorph would definitely do that.
Yeah.
Like Elves or some other similar deck where you're just a monocolor deck. That's another brainstorm for Reuben.
All right, all the brainstorms.
Plays a basic. Doesn't look like he has a fetch.
I don't think he does.
Looks like he has a Vendilion Click.
Well, if you got Vendilion Click, that's coming down now. Or,
can't really tell.
Or on Matt's turn.
That might be the Metamorph still. Too many different cards in Legacy.
All right, so Matt draws, and then no Vendilion Click, okay. See.
Brainstorm, Spell Snare, Metamorph, Island, something.
All right, Ponder from Matt McCullough.
Yep.
And I can't really get a glimpse at Matt's hand. I don't know what he's going for, but I imagine just a reanimation spell at this point, right?
Yeah, or just counter backup.
Yeah.
He might just have a reanimate, assume that Reuben's this big blue control deck with no dazes, and it's just, how many missteps and forcibles can I find in dazes and whatnot.
Right. Matt leaves them there. That's not what Reuben wants to see, I'm sure. When your opponent is like a combo deck, they leave all 3 there.
Yeah. At that point, you just kind of hope that, well, maybe they just don't know what they're doing.
Right, yeah. Just forgot to hit the wrong button on Ponder.
Yeah, exactly. Saw some cards they thought they wanted and didn't.
Huh, yeah. Well, let's see what Matt chooses to do. I think he plays with Mystery Reinforcement. We can shuffle away from that Ponder if he wants to.
This looks like a Vendilion Click. Yep.
Yeah. End step Vendilion Click for Reuben Bresler.
I think Matt's debating whether he wants to force a will that or not.
Finally get a good peek at Matt McCullough's hand if that resolves.
He's going to force a will, exiling force a will. Seems like a fair play. Make sure Reuben just has no clock.
Yeah, I think I like that. Especially if he's going to, take your most important card or take your force or something anyway. Yeah. Getting rid of that clock.
Looks like another Spell Snare to go with the Brainstorm. So his hand has 2 Brainstorms, a Spell Snare, and a Metamorph.
Without a clock, it means that Matt can basically set up his combo, take as long as he needs to set it up.
Exactly.
Basically. That's a ton of Brainstorms this game by Reuben Bresler.
Yeah, it's 3.
All the brainstorms.
Not quite. Maybe
Well, I
this one
guess-
will find the last one.
Yeah.
Matt plays Reanimate. And Reuben's in an awkward scenario here.
All right,
Brainstorm?
Brainstorm. See what he finds. Looks like energy field. Yeah, energy field.
Energy Field. There's a Force of Will in there.
There's a force.
And a Counterspell. That was a good one.
Yeah, that was what he needed. He was able to find a way to both deal with the opposing spell on the stack, as well as find a way to make sure he can deal with any other spells or backup that Matt might have access to.
To be fair, Reuben is locked into drawing 2 blanks now, basically.
Yeah. So Matt forces back, and then Reuben's going to force the force.
Did he pitch?
Not sure what he pitched. But
Maybe the Metamorph?
Maybe the Metamorph. But now Reuben just, like I said, he has 2 blanks on top.
He does have Spell Snares, so if Matt has Animate Deads, then they're not blanks, but... Yeah, his hand has 2 Spell Snares. I think he pitched the Metamorph. Matt cracks his fetch.
Yeah, I like that. I think Reuben figured out that Metamorphs aren't that exciting.
No. You can't tell how many cards Matt still has in his hand right now.
I thought he might have had to expend all of them on the last turn. I mean, he forced and reanimated. Like, we'll see if
He had a lot of cards in hand. I think he still has a reasonable grip.
I'll see if he picks anything up.
Oh, guess he's just going off the top 2.
Yeah, Matt's off top 2. Looks like Matt pitched Careful Study to force, and Reuben pitched Energy Field.
Nope, Reuben kept the Metamorph.
Yep. So
He pitched the Energy Field.
Yeah, pitched the Energy Field.
Draws a Counterspell.
Passes. Matt grabs a new card. Now both players are kind of in this rebuild phase, where it's like, well, all right, those are all of our resources. Time to find some new ones. Let's go mine some minerals.
Good old StarCraft references. Need more Vespene gas.
Yeah. Push certainly some gas of any variety at this point, Vespene or otherwise. Not a lot going on.
Reuben does have a grip full of counterspells, so...
And the game is getting maneuvered precisely where Reuben wants it to be, where Matt has to be very aggressive now, and Reuben has all the answers. Reuben just has to be able to play enough lands to hold up counter magic when he plays out of Jace, or find Vendilion Click to make sure he can get the game under control.
Well, there was the Vendilion Click, I think. Is that the third one? Yep. Maybe it's not, but...
Hard to tell exactly.
It's very hard to tell right now.
Exactly what's going on in Reuben's hands. We'll see. So if you're Matt McCullough and Reuben Bresler is holding a group full of cards, what is your plan to win this game?
Sit there, get 8 cards to his 7. That's always been the plan for combo versus all the counter spells, right?
The old Affinity trick, Ophidian. Slightly different. The old Ophidian trick.
Yeah, that looks like a Vendilion Click.
Yeah, so V-Click comes down for Reuben Bresler.
Yep. Matt debating whether he wants to force Wolf, probably.
I mean, I think keeping that Vendilion Click off the board is a big deal. All right, so he goes for Entomb, and I don't think Reuben cares at this point. Like,
no.
You can let your reanimation spells resolve.
He might counter this Entomb, I don't know.
I mean, I think Matt already has Iona. What could he be entombing for? That's a big issue.
Something like a Bloodghast or a Vengeful Pharaoh.
Sure.
Maybe a Deep Analysis. The list used to have those. But yeah,
Find a Life from the Loam.
Yeah, something like that.
Get a little crazy. Rebuy some Creeping Tar Pits.
Yeah. This Vendilion Click's probably just going to resolve, and that Entomb will too.
I've wanted to Entomb for Life from the Loam for a long time.
It's just too fair.
Yeah, I mean, and out of all the things you could do, right? Like,
yeah.
What deck is honestly going to need that? Inkwell Leviathan. I mean, in lands, like, Gamble is just better, right?
Yeah. Not necessarily. In lands, if you're playing Entomb, you're going to be playing Dark Confidant too, so.
Man, you take, like, no damage. That's sweet.
Mm-hmm. So, it's like more loans. Draw more cards a turn.
I can get down with my Dark Confidant Life from the Loam deck. Now we just have to add, like, Seismic Assault, and we're set. Alright, so that Entomb resolves. Looking at Matt's hand, he sees 2 lands of Thoughtseize and a Jin-Gitaxias.
There are
Probably
not
gonna say
actually enough lands to cast the Jin-Gitaxias in Matt's deck. There are only 6 lands that make mana.
well, so much for that plan. I think you just keep them, right?
Yeah,
Like those, you could take the Thoughtseize, but I don't think there's any reason to.
that probably is. It's a card that does something. You know.
Yeah, Samuel on Twitter points out that Matt's already used 3 forces, so he doesn't really have a good way for counter backup.
Yeah, there's the Jace that's probably going to lock this game up for him.
Yeah, the Jace just, oh man, it feels so demoralized when your opponent looks at your top card and leaves it there. I think that's probably what Reuben is going to want to do here.
He does have multiple fetch lands.
Oh, it looks like he's just going to brainstorm.
Yeah, there's an Echoing Truth and a Relic of Progenitus. This is probably too much.
Yeah, I think Matt's coming back for this one.
No. Between his hand and the Brainstorm, Reuben had to have the 2 counter spells there, and he did.
Yeah.
So. To be fair, Matt did have 3 Force of Will, so...
Yeah, I mean, you know, Reuben didn't have a lot of action, so he found the action he needed and was able to climb back in the game.
Brainstorm does that. Who would have thought?
Yeah, playing your Brainstorms correctly is huge. If you haven't watched AJ's AJ TV from last week on Brainstorm, I'd really recommend you go do. It's pretty good to watch. Also check out his article, Pondering Brainstorm, and numerous other Brainstorm-related things that I've been talked about before. It's a really complex card, and getting the most mileage out of it you can is really important. In the meantime, Reuben Bresler just dropped down Relic of Progenitus and exiled everyone's graveyard.
Yeah, Matt should probably just pack it in as fear.
Yeah, just for time considerations, right?
Exactly.
Or is it better since Reanimator can win quickly and the Mono Blue deck can't?
I don't know. Does Reanimator want to be in the draw bracket, though? I know with Stormer was always, if you were going to go to time, the best play was try to get them scoop. If they don't scoop, you scoop. I think he's probably just thought seizing and then just going to concede.
Write down the cards, concede.
Yeah.
All right, so Matt writes down the cards. Counterspell, Force of Will, Spell Snare, Echoing Truth.
I've always wanted the Thoughtseize at like 1 life. Look at their hand, and then the game ends. You lose 2 life after.
Yeah.
Save base effects are checked after it resolves.
Yeah. Chris Anderson just handed in his match result slip. Looks like Elves off to an early 1-0 start here at the Open Series. Love to see Elves do well, especially it's Chris Anderson who's been playing it nonstop.
Did Matt take the Force Will, I believe? I'd assume that's what he took. Yeah, this does not look promising at all. Matt's down to 9 life. I guess this game's not going to go much longer.
Yeah,
may
3
as
hits
well
from
see
the
it out.
big
Yeah.
Show and tell.
What? Well, that's a cool side. Oh, wow.
I didn't think Matt brought those in.
Neither did I.
All right, Jin-Gitaxias.
I still think Reuben wins because of Jace, but...
Yeah, I mean, Matt's going to draw 7 cards.
Yeah. Show and Tell might be really good here because it dodges Spell Snare and Mental Misstep. I did not think about that.
All right, so Matt McCullough draws 7 off Jin-Gitaxias. Yeah, I did not think he would bring in Show and Tell, but Matt McCullough did, and now he's got 7 cards, and he gets a discard step. He can discard a Fatty now and have a boatload of reanimation on the next turn.
Well, he needs to have Terrastodon because anything else immediately gets Jaced.
Looks like he's also going to brainstorm in his end step before he discards to maybe protect some of the cards he has in his hand.
Maybe just get more options for discarding.
Yeah, I mean, if he needs to discard a reanimation target here, for example, you have to find one.
So Matt casts Wheel of Fortune, and only for him, though. Only for him.
One-sided Wheel of Fortune. Wow. All right, puts 2 cards back. He's going to have to discard. What Matt discards here is going to be pretty important. Discards Iona, Shield of Amera.
Does not matter right now. What he needs is Terrastodon.
Right, because that Jace can deal with that Iona pretty easily.
Yeah.
And there'll be no... Let's see, I look at over his reanimation spells. Reanimate is dead because Matt would die if he reanimated something.
He probably boarded out Reanimate because of Mental Misstep.
And Exhume and Animate Dead are the only other 2 options. And he knows there's the Echoing Truth in Reuben's hand, too.
Oh, that is true. But the Terrastodon... Oh, No, Terrastodon doesn't matter there because he just kills the Jace. He has to do it this turn, though, so he can have another turn where he gets back the Iona. And then... Did Reuben not bounce? His hand looks too full for him to have bounced.
Possible he's just going to... yeah, it looks like he's putting 2 cards back.
Maybe he's Echoing Truthing it.
Possible he's just going to Echo and Truth away that Jin-Gitaxias.
I don't know why he brainstormed, though.
All right, Echoing Truth back into Texas. Yeah, I think bouncing is just a really safe play. Right?
Yeah, I agree.
All right, so Matt's gonna fetch out a Underground Sea here with his fetch land. Shuffle away the 2 cards on top.
Yep, going to 5.
Let's see. So what 7 cards would Matt need to have in his hand to be able to pull ahead this game? All right.
Let's see. He has a lot of cards. He just needs, the first thing he needs is Terrastodon. Oh wow, this could be backbreaking too. That is a force of will on that Echoing Truth, and that means that Jace is gonna die if this resolves. Reuben does have the counter spell. Matt has the Spell Pierce, which presumably means that he also has the Daze. No, he does not. Okay. Matt has all of his lands in the deck in play.
Wow.
So Matt needs Terrastodon and to get a flyer into play. Matt is at 4. Yeah.
All right. Can we find Terrastodon?
He has a turn where Reuben is tapped out.
Reuben's tapped out. Now it's just a matter of if Matt can do what he needs to do. All right, goes for Ponder. Good start to a fundamental turn. Can't quite make out the 3 cards you found there. Shuffles them pretty quickly.
Yeah.
What he wanted was not there.
He needs to put a Terrastodon and a flyer into play this turn. So he needs to have Entomb and 2 reanimation spells that cost 2. Or a Show and Tell and a reanimation spell that costs 2 and the Terrastodon in his hand.
First, got some options.
Yeah. He's not dead, but he's behind.
And the Videli Click will serve over for 3. All right, so careful study.
He has to draw the Terrastodon now. He could also get Platinum Angel into play if he still has it in his deck, and then get Terrastodon into play off of Reanimate.
All right, so discard Ginger Taxis and something else.
I don't think this is going to end well for Matt.
Yeah, I think Matt fought a valiant battle. I assume. I think he can find the Ginger Taxis, but I don't think it's going to be good enough.
He does have one more turn to get this guy into play, but next turn he's going to have to fight through a wall of counter magic.
Yeah.
He might be able to put back Iona and Jigataxis. Nope.
Yep, can't do it.
Yeah.
So Matt just have to pass the turn. Just draw 7 new cards. So Matt should have tons of options, but oh, rough.
Yep.
Thought maybe Matt was gonna be able to, like you said, get Terrastodon on that turn, but he wasn't able to. Goes for another brainstorm, just like last time. Looking to dig a little deeper, find other cards to discard, put 2 cards you might want to keep back.
Yeah. Or at least one that you want to draw next turn.
Right.
He does have an next turn, so we'll see.
And on.
Yeah. I like when you have so many cards in hand that you lay down the cards that you want to keep. Yeah. Instead of which ones you want to discard.
Huh. Very interesting choice. He's trying to sculpt the perfect hand here.
He discards a Spell Pierce. Interesting.
Wow. Reuben has to be a little scared about that.
Yeah, that means Matt's hand is probably pretty stacked. Reuben's hand is pretty good as well with 3 Spell Snares and a counterspell, and Matt has to fight through all of those because Reanimate is not a live card anymore. Nope. Matt goes to 1 life, Jace bounces Jingataxis.
Alright, does Matt have it? And by it, I don't really know. I mean, it'd have to be find a way to discard.
He has to put Terrastodon and Iona in the play.
Brainstorm's a start. Draws 3 cards and packs them in. Alright, player's gonna try and get into game 3 here.
Yeah. This definitely favors Matt on the play.
So how do you feel about show and tell then? Do you think you board those out? Do you think that was a one-trick pony?
No, I think that's fine in this matchup. Like, Vendilion Click's kind of obnoxious, but, you know, it's really nice that the card dodges Mental Misstep and Spell Snare.
And then, if you're a Reuben Bresler, do you think you want to keep in your Phyrexian Metamorphs?
It's possible because of that you do.
Because with show and tell, Metamorph is a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. It's kind of an interesting little dance there. Metamorph's completely dead against Reanimation, but show and tell's better against the counter spells.
Yeah. So what do you choose to do? I think Reuben might end up taking out the Metamorphs. But it looks like Matt to do really any sideboarding there.
No. I don't know. Looking at his deck, there's not too much you really want to board out necessarily. Yeah, Reuben had all 3 of his spell snares in his hand at the end of the game. There was no way Matt was going to force through Reanimation spell.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Matt had a one-turn window and
didn't have it there.
Yeah, no good.
Yeah. You could have just had Terrastodon, killed Jace, killed 2 of his lands, then untapped and put Iona in on the next turn, but even then that would be a struggle.
Yeah, getting Iona to play on the next turn would not be easy.
Yeah.
All right, so going to game 3, you said Matt's favorite on the play. What is Matt going to be looking for in his opening hand? Do you want to make sure you have Entomb probably? Do you want Reanimation Spell, Entomb, Careful Study, Counter Magic maybe? What are some of the crucial things that you really want?
It's just the same thing every game. You just want card that puts Jin-Gitaxias or anything into graveyard, card that brings it back from graveyard to play, and then the rest of your hand's just cantrips, counter spells, and land.
Yep. Just like most combo decks, it feels, right? You want whatever your combo is, plus maybe a little disruption.
Maybe some cantrips just to make everything work out.
Yeah. Find any missing pieces.
Yeah.
Hit your land drops. How about Reuben? That's a much harder question. What is Reuben looking for? A lot of counter magic, obviously.
Reuben wants probably a Mental Misstep, a Force of Will, a Brainstorm, and cards.
Okay.
Like 2 lands, one of them fetches, some cards. Like Vendilion Click's pretty good here, just as a way to kill them.
Yeah, you can drop click down. Pretty effective.
Looks like Reuben is...
Is he checking the time? Potentially.
I think he might be going to use the restroom.
Using the restroom.
One of the above.
So heading back to us for a second here while Reuben takes a quick break. I'm Gavin Ver here with Arielax here at the Star City Games Open Series in Cincinnati, Ohio. For those of you who have missed it earlier, Standard Open just finished up about an hour ago, not that long. It was won by Caw-Blade of all decks.
The finals was Vampires versus Caw-Blade, but that's not really the story of this event. The real story is that the top 8 had 6 unique archetypes. And there were 2 Caw-Blade decks in the top 8, yes, but the other archetype that doubled up was something that we haven't seen a lot of. Some people call it Hawkward, some people call it Tempered Steel, but Mono White Beatdown put 2 people into the top 8, and that's not even counting Caleb Druid's Pure Steel Paladin deck, which is completely different.
Yeah, I think Tempered Steel is a deck a lot of people didn't prepare for coming into the event.
Yeah.
And I think they'll start to prepare for it now because that deck is fast and explosive
really
and resilient too.
I think it's still going to take at least another result for people to actually prepare for it the full way they should, but the only player in the top 8 who really was prepared was Matthew, I'm forgetting his last name right now, but Matthew with the Vampires player, who had Ratchet Bombs and Shatters and all of the Vampires removal in his side, or out of the sideboard were the Ratchet Bombs and Shatters. Main deck he had Lightning Bolt, Arch Trail, Arch Trail is really good, assuming Tempered Steel's not in play. And Dismember and Gatekeeper and all these
Thirst in the sideboard
Sorin's
too.
Thirst and all the beatdown. That's enough.
Yeah.
All the other decks, not so much.
Huh. Yeah, it's really interesting to see how that matchup played out. And of course, he got to play against Tempered Steel too, which is pretty nice for him.
Yes. Swiftly 2-0'd the Tempered Steel player.
Yeah.
Tempered Steel didn't have its best draws, but it definitely was not a good matchup for it.
I was, interestingly, if you're looking to change up the Tempered Steel deck, I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday who played it, ended up X2 in the event, and he told me, or X2-1 maybe, and he told me that he really felt like main deck Phyrexian Revoker would have been good for him all day long. Felt like a lot of people had activated abilities. Gideon was a big issue.
Yeah, Gideon's a card that deck has a problem with that wasn't around in block.
And
stops Splinter Twin combo, you named Deceiver Exarch. And it looks like we're about to go back to game 3 over here.
All right, so entering game 3, looks like the players have taken their opening hands. Or Ruben's about
Matt
to take his
McCullough's
opening
keeping.
hands. All right, keeping it in 7. That's definitely something Matt McCullough wanted to do here.
Reuben sends his right on back.
Every card, like obviously you never want a mulligan, but every card in a matchup like this is even all the more crucial.
Well, every card in Legacy is so huge, just because you have Force of Will that is really important. You have to have cards in your hand. But the other thing is, there's not really a good way to get back cards in Legacy. These decks have Brainstorm, but that's card quality, not card advantage. You have Top, but that's card quality, again, not card advantage. I mean, Reuben's deck does have Jace the Mind Sculptor, but that's really a finisher. That's not card advantage. And the only real card advantage spell he has is Cryptic Command.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Matt McCullough, I think Tax is pretty nice little card advantage spell.
I mean, that's a different story.
Actually, it might not even be. You spend so many cards getting that guy into play.
Well, with the combo decks, it's just you don't need that much card advantage because you can just dump your hand,
right,
and once you dump your hand, you're done. You'd be done anyways. So either you win or you lose.
Yeah,
50-50, right?
So yeah, I think I agree with you. It's hard to recoup cards, but in a matchup like this, mulliganing is a big deal, especially when you're the Reuben Bresler playing the control deck, and you need all the answers you can find to all Matt McCullough's threats.
Yeah. Looks like Reuben's debating his 6. The person behind him does not seem very amused with the 6.
Oh man, Reuben, not so happy, but no, he's going down to 5.
That was probably the not much disruption, but it has lands and a couple spells, or the no lands. I've got a Force of Will and a misstep, and I hope I draw a land.
Yeah, I think Reuben's right. If it's really risky, you just want to go down to 5 here.
Those are the the typical 2 hands against combo that people always go into the tank for so long with. I have no disruption, but maybe I have a couple things that maybe do something like a Vendilion Click and a Jace, but I'm just not going to live that long if I don't have a Force of Will. Or I got a Force of Will and a misstep, but I can't really do anything. I've got 0 lands. Maybe I counter the first 2 spells, but I'll just die.
Right. All right, Reuben's much happier with this one.
Thoughtseize.
Oh man, well, misstep on Thoughtseize.
And Reuben chooses to take the 2 instead of Matt and Mental Misstep. Island. Looks like Reuben has Oblivion Stone in hand, Counterspell, and a Misty Rainforest.
And that top that he played on turn 1 will help. So it looks like that Thoughtseize is going to resolve, probably pluck away that Counterspell.
Yes.
So Reuben's hand is going to be Oblivion Stone, Misty Rainforest, but he does have top in play, which will help regulate his draws.
Yes. Oblivion Stone's kind of interesting if the game goes a bit later, but I don't think that's going to be able to happen against Reanimator.
Yeah, I mean, with only
and
one
I don't
land.
think that Matt necessarily has, or Reuben has enough lands to actually get the 5 at this point anyways.
Right.
He's going to have to use a lot of top draw steps to get there. Matt shuffles off a Ponder.
So Matt just sculpting the perfect hand here.
Mm-hmm.
And he knows what's in Reuben's hand. He knows Reuben doesn't have a lot of interaction. Granted, Reuben has top, but
anything can happen.
Yeah.
I'm expecting an upkeep top from Reuben because he's going to crack this fetch land after if it's not good.
Yeah, I would also expect upkeep
Sees, misstep, brainstorm, land. Yeah, that looks good enough to me. It's got a brainstorm. I keep. Probably stack it. See, the awkward part here is that Reuben wants to draw brainstorm and land as his cards, but he wants to have the misstep access on top. So he probably wants to draw the island this turn, put the mental misstep underneath it, then EOT top to switch the misstep below the brainstorm.
But oh yeah, sure, okay.
Unless he just doesn't want the land.
Nope, doesn't like that one. I think he's gonna need the land. I agree.
He draws the misstep. He might just not shuffle with. He might just want all those cards actually, but I was thinking he might want like a real counterspell like Force of Will.
All right, well, there's Entomb, and Reuben's going to misstep that.
I think Matt's gonna misstep right back.
Spell Pierce. All right. So much for that.
Yeah, that's gonna resolve.
Entomb resolves.
I think Reuben's got to let this resolve and then start the fight of the reanimation spells. Like this Entomb's important and it lies up a lot of his cards, but you can't just throw away this brainstorm. I feel like maybe brainstorm's not really good here because you have top, but I don't know. Brainstorm's just always been insane.
Brainstorm is definitely what you want.
Matt's probably going to go get, Iona. Even though Reuben has that Oblivion Stone. I may have gotten Jinga Taxes here.
I mean, Reuben is so far off from using that Oblivion Stone. And if you just...
Yeah, but if the game even goes a little bit longer, like Matt actually has to kill Reuben with Iona.
Right.
And Reuben has to find, land, so it's not like he can necessarily... It's not like he's going to miss a bunch of land drops here. So I think Matt may have wanted Jinga Taxes here, but it's probably not super relevant.
Alright, so Reuben's going to crack his fetch line. Shuffling away the island on top, I believe?
Yeah. I don't know about that. I think he wants islands because the way he's going to win this game is get a Jason to play.
Yeah, and he needs to use the Oblivion Stone potentially, too.
Yeah, here we go. He's on to 5 cards. He has no real way to, fight counter wars against Matt except for get a Jason to play and start activating it to get to cards in hand that he needs.
Right. And now he's no fetch lines either for that Brainstorm.
No, he does not. That's one of the things I really dislike about Sensei's Divining Cup is how poorly it interacts with Brainstorm.
Yeah. Alright, so Reuben draws some cards.
That is a Relic of Progenitus. That was a good one.
So he can play it.
And a fetch land.
Oh, wow. He can even get rid of the graveyard if he needs to.
Yes.
Cracks fetch land. I was going to say, hope he does that now. Not necessarily activates Relic, but you definitely want to crack the fetch land at least.
Yeah, you want to have,
You don't want to risk just some stray bounce spell or something like that.
Some stifle.
Could be anything.
Active player finish your turn and you have 5 additional turns.
I believe that's Matt saying must be, Reuben saying is.
Also,
so that's time, but I think the players have extra time.
Yeah. Is that time in the round, he said?
That's time in the round, but I think the players have extra time because they started a little late. We had to put them on the feature match table and all that kind of stuff. We'll find out shortly for you if they have extra time or not.
Yeah.
Well, let's see.
It's also possible if Matt has another Entomb, he could just swamp into, Exhume. Oh, crack Relic. Okay, I'll Entomb in response because Exhume does not target.
Right. Is it Exhume an instant?
Yes. Or Entomb's an instant.
Oh, Entomb is. Oh, you mean after the Relic resolves?
Yeah.
Right. Sorry. I thought you said Exhume in response to Exhume.
That was Reuben jokingly tapping Relic before sacrificing it. Man, maybe you'll remove the wrong one.
Yeah. All right, cracks Pluto Delta. And I think Matt only have 1 card left?
Maybe.
Or is there a couple cards hidden down there? It looks like there might be 2 or 3.
I think it's 2.
So they have a 1-minute time extension.
Okay. So this match is likely going to end in a draw.
Careful study.
Surprising for a match where game 1 ended on turn 3?
Yeah, I mean that Mono Blue deck takes a while. Game 2 took a long time, and Matt was unwilling to concede, but maybe that's going to come back to get him here.
Yeah.
Matt, careful studies away 2 cards. Reuben's hand now counterspell Vidalcan Shackles.
Yeah.
Passes back. Matt draws his card quickly. And Matt passes back. Reuben tops. This game is on full course to be a draw.
Yeah. Reuben actually can't kill in time, and it doesn't look like Matt's going to be able to anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, time... I don't think their actual time has started yet, but even then...
I wonder if... It's possible that Matt did not know about the Entomb trick.
Yeah, if he had the Entomb in his hand, he could have just done it.
Yeah, he did Careful Study since then, so he's had a lot of draw steps, so it could have been anything.
Yeah. He might probably just drew it at some point.
Yeah.
So he goes for Entomb. Gets Inkwell Leviathan.
Definitely the best one in this scenario.
Yeah,
Reuben
kills
draws
in 2 hits.
Brainstorm.
Alright, Brainstorm away. Draws Brainstorm, Echoing Truth. Couldn't make out the last card.
Maybe a misstep?
Could be a misstep.
Nope, Scalding Tarn.
Yep, sacrifice Scalding Tarn, shuffling away those cards on top, resetting Senseless Divining top, finding another island.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. And Reuben is going to. What do you think Reuben does here?
Is he gonna brainstorm?
Brainstorm
That
again?
cannot be right.
I don't like that second brainstorm. I mean, you have to put 2 of those cards back.
Maybe he's just hoping he draws cards that let him not die. Is that a propaganda?
I don't think that's. Maybe that is. I
On
don't
the
know
left?
why you would board propaganda.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I think that might have been another force.
No. So his hand is now Force of Will Counterspell.
I don't think propaganda does anything.
No, it
so-
doesn't. So Matt's gonna brainstorm.
Brainstorms. So there's 2 cards put back, and there must be an extra turns by now.
Yeah. This game sounds like it's gonna end in a draw, I think.
Yeah, it's almost really good. Unless one player's willing to concede to the other, it seems like it's going to be a draw.
Matt's gonna attempt to reanimate. That was a misplay by Reuben. Matt's deck does have days in it. Tapped out instead of Force of Willing. If they are in extra turns, at least. If the game's gonna go on a bit longer, he probably wants to Force of Will, but otherwise he just doesn't want to tap out.
All right, show and tell. Force the will, pitching the last blue card.
Mm-hmm.
And show and tell is countered. Reuben's going to top, leave him there. Draw a card, top again, leave him there, pass. And now they just look like they're going through the motions.
Now it's turn 1. There we go.
Alright.
Maybe the card we thought was a propaganda may have been a back to basics.
Back to basics? Interesting. Could be back to basics. Could be, is there misdirection in there? There are 3 misdirections.
There are misdirections out of the
Could
board.
have been misdirection too.
Yeah, just more free counter spells.
I think it might be misdirection.
The one in his hand definitely is misdirection.
Yeah. So, force happens again. Show and tell does not resolve.
Looks like a turn 3. This is just going to be a draw.
Yeah.
Reuben did surprisingly well and battled back from his mold to 5.
Yeah, I mean, or at least he did enough work so that, I mean, he drew pretty well, but he did enough work so that Matt couldn't kill him quickly. He should reanimate, but I don't think it's going to be able to kill Reuben quickly enough. There's Inkwell Leviathan. So that's 2 turns of attacking, but they don't have that much time, right?
No, they do not.
Yep. So maybe Reuben will concede to Matt, if that's going to be lethal.
I don't think Reuben actually has a way to stop that guy.
No. Alright, so they're talking about it. And unclear who just won.
Unclear if there was a winner.
It's either
I don't-
a draw or Reuben conceded, one of the 2.
Yeah, I don't think that the drawback is favorable for either player. I think that the control decks, you can't afford the draws because they just start cascading into each other. Like you get into the draw bracket, you play against the slow control
Oh,
mirror.
they went for a draw?
They did?
Yeah.
They did, in fact.
They drew.
Yep.
Alright. Draw it is. So players heading into round 2, both with the draw.
Yep.
And that'll be that. So, head back to the booth. Hey, I'm Gavin Verheim here with Ari Lax at the Star City Games Open Series here in Ohio, Cincinnati. How are you doing today, Ari?
Good. How'd you sleep last night, Gavin?
That's a long story.
Oh, really?
Yeah. For those who weren't following me on Twitter last night, the short version of the story is that I woke up with multiple bugs on me, like half-inch long bugs, and the hotel wouldn't do anything about it. And so I didn't want to sleep in my bed anymore, so I slept in a chair the whole night. I took a shower, yelled at the hotel, yelled nicely at the hotel. They couldn't do anything, and then I slept in a chair. But I'm feeling great. I'm happy to be here, and it's cool to watch all this Magic being played. So
I think the important part of the story was that the first thing he did after discovering this was post about it on Twitter.
yeah, well, I mean, like any good person in the 21st century,
Yeah.
the first thing you should always do whenever you encounter a gigantic crisis is post about it on Twitter.
Exactly. And people on Twitter said that it was a good idea for him to wake me up.
Right, because I mean, it's fair.
Yeah,
like,
like-
what if you're bed of bugs in it too?
Yeah. And my response was, I don't care, I'm going back to sleep.
Yeah. I was like, all right, I mean, fair. I was actually worried that like Ari would be genuinely mad at me for waking him up this morning, but fortunately he was like, I didn't even remember. Like,
I was dead. I
Yeah.
was asleep.
yeah, I mean, only because we had so much great standard action to watch
Oh my
yesterday. All tons of
Every
matches.
round, every single round was interesting.
Great matches yesterday, and then top 8 today was, or
Yeah.
top 4 today. Great play. Eventually, Cobblade took it down, beating Vampires in the finals.
But there was a
Pretty
lot of really cool decks, like the Jun deck that made the top 8. Made the top 4, my bad.
Yeah,
that
that-
deck was awesome.
Yeah, I think that Jun deck is awesome.
Yeah.
I think, especially once it gets hammered out by more people and start working on it.
And it needs a little bit more to do with Lotus Cobra. It needs a little bit better removal split, but I think that it has a lot of power.
I'm not sure if Lava Match is where you want to be. It seems good
yeah,
on the surface,
I
but like
agree.
watching it play just never did
It
anything.
never really did too much. I think you just want to be closer to like, I don't know, all the old Jun decks that have done well have had more 4-drops, 5-drops, more threats.
Yeah, that's what I noticed. Is like he had tons of lands, he just run out of things to do.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, he had lots of man lands, but he needed some actual spells to cast.
Right, some more Planeswalkers maybe, some, well, not Sorin. Sorin's not the best, but Liliana maybe. That's a good one. I can't remember who wrote the article. Someone was writing about a deck with like Sark on the mat and a bunch of the Planeswalkers.
Sark in the Mad, sure. Maybe even Abyssal Persecutor could be a thing in that deck. If you have enough ways to kill it. I don't know how the mana is. Gatekeeper Malakir could be interesting.
That seems a little gutsy, but I think when Pat Chapin was considering that deck for GP Dallas, he might have had Gatekeepers in it. I think he had Phyrexian Ragers. I'm sure you can look back at his old articles and find the list, and I think that was long enough ago that those are now free to read, even if you don't have premium. So go back, take a look, and that kind of level of writing is what you can expect if you get premium in the future.
Yeah, I mean, there's great stuff by Patrick Chapin. His articles every week are some of the ones I look forward to the most. I remember that Jun deck had Lead the Stampede in it too, right?
I don't recall if it did. I think it may have at one point.
Yeah, I did at one point, I'm pretty sure, where you would lead into 3 or 4 creatures. Such a Jundi mid-range thing to do.
You'd lead the Stampede into like a Sylvan Ranger, a Gatekeeper Malakir, and like a Grave Titan.
Now can you imagine like Lead the Stampede for like Solemn Simulacrum or something like that?
Yeah. And a Grave Titan.
So Jun. So yeah, that was a really interesting deck to watch, of course. So we had the Jun deck. We had